Am I the a-hole for not giving my father money from my inheritance to pay for treatment for his stepkid? So I, 19 male, received an inheritance from my paternal grandparents 2 years ago. They left it in a trust for me, safeguarding it from anyone who might try to use it for their own purposes, including my father, their son. I gained access to the money when I turned 19, a choice my grandparents made. I was the primary beneficiary, and they left my father the lowest amount possible to prevent him from contesting their will. I haven't lived with my father in 5 years. When he met his wife, he gave me 2 choices. Either agree to treat them all as family from day one, embrace her 2 kids who were really young at the time, and accept that she would be the mom in the house, meaning she would also be my mom, or I could get the heck out of his house and stop sponging off him. I chose to live with my maternal grandparents. For those who will ask, my mom died when I was 6. My parents weren't together, and she was my primary caregiver, but my father had visitation on weekends before she passed away. After her death, I went to live with him. I think he blamed me for being born and resented my existence. He certainly acted like it. So, I never interacted with his precious little family. I don't know his wife or her kids, and I don't care about them. I feel no sense of obligation to pretend they're my family. That's why I said no when he reached out to me a couple of months ago, asking me to give him $40,000 from my inheritance to pay for treatment for one of his stepkids. He sent me a bunch of links about the condition and the treatment, which I think was in Switzerland or maybe Germany. He said the kid was getting worse, and they were worried it could become fatal. Apparently, it's a condition the kid has always had, but it worsens over time, and there aren't many treatment options yet. However, this was one of them. Honestly, I thought I had blocked him on my socials, so the DM was a surprise. I said no, blocked him, and carried on. But then he texted me, and I wondered how he got my number since I had changed mine after moving in with my grandparents. Turns out, he had my paternal grandparents' phones and found my number on them. I told him to stop. He wasn't getting the money. He sent me more info via text and even shared their fundraising page, which wasn't getting much. He said they would consider another place for treatment if they could get some money for it. I blocked the number and any other numbers he tried reaching me from. I guess after enough silence, he decided to bring others into it. He sent my uncle after me. My uncle wanted to know why I said no and whether I had considered using the money to make my father legally obligated to pay me back with interest. I said no. I told him I didn't want to help them and wasn't giving away any of my money. My uncle argued that I could help a child, maybe even save their life, and that should matter more than who the kid belongs to. Then he dropped the whole step-sibling argument, and I just told him to get lost. But I guess it made me think a bit. I don't feel guilty, just reflective, because I could give them the $40,000, and I'm choosing not to. Heck, I think one of my dad's texts even increased the amount he wanted, but I could still afford it. I'm just saying no. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. You need that money because you know well your father's not going to be there to take care of you. Oh yeah, he hasn't taken care of me for years, and even when I lived with him, saying he took care of me would be a stretch. Not the a-hole. Would any of them give $40,000 to a random stranger? The kid is literally a stranger to you. Even if you are related, you have no obligation to pay for someone else's child's medical treatment. Yes, it's a sad and unfortunate situation, but it's not your responsibility. If you didn't have money, who else would they be expecting to pay? Also, in all the info they sent, is there any actual genuine proof? Because it could just be a plot to get money from you. Even if it's real, please don't give any money away. Keep your money for your future and future children. I didn't look too closely, but it seemed legit. I didn't really care to read everything though. My biggest thought was, why the heck is he sending this to me? Then I realized he wanted money, and all I could think was, buzz right off with that. Not the a-hole. They can talk to their care team about resources or their embassy if they're looking at an out-of-country program. Given what you said about there being only one treatment option, that's a little concerning. Not every treatment works for every patient. Chronic medical conditions with limited treatments often become money pits, as there's no magic pill to make the condition disappear. There are relapses, side effects, and failure rates for almost every treatment. It's $40,000 this time, and when it doesn't work or isn't enough, guess who they're going to bug again for another try? There's that, and the fact he already increased it. What's to say they wouldn't fly out to wherever, and then reach out saying they need more and I'm the only person who could send it fast? Or if it works and the kid needs it long term, it would all fall to me. And I'm no multimillionaire or billionaire here. Not the a-hole. Your father abandoned you for his new family, and now he only cares because he needs money. You owe him nothing, especially not your inheritance, which was protected for a reason. Kindness is a choice, not an obligation. He burned the bridge, not you. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my parents use my college fund for my brother's wedding? I just turned 18 and recently got accepted into my dream university. My grandparents set up a college fund for me when I was born, and it has enough to cover most of my tuition. My parents have always known about this fund, and I've been planning my education around it. A few weeks ago, my older brother, 25 male, announced that he's getting married. My parents are paying for most of the wedding, but recently told me that they need to borrow from my college fund to cover extra costs. I was shocked and told them no, since that money was meant for my education. They argued that I could just take out student loans, and that family comes first. My brother and his fiancée also called me selfish, saying I should help out, since they want a big wedding. I refused again. Now my parents are saying they're disappointed in me, and my brother isn't speaking to me. Am I the a-hole for refusing to give up my college fund? They can also take out loans to pay for the wedding, and would most likely get a better interest rate than your student loans. They can take money out of the equity on their home if they own one, open a credit card, take money from their retirement accounts, etc. There is zero reason it should come from your college fund, not the a-hole. I just don't understand why my future is the first thing they're willing to sacrifice. There are so many other ways they could handle this, but instead, they're choosing to take away the one thing that was meant to give me a better life. It really hurts. Lock down your credit. Your parents have everything they need to get a loan in your name, and justify it by saying that you can pay it off with your education funds. It wouldn't be the first time a family decided family comes first meant screwing over one of their own children in favor of another. Also, transfer the college fund into a new one that he only has access to. Otherwise, the parents might raid the fund without his permission. Not the a-hole, and I'd make sure they can't access it without you knowing. Yeah, that's my biggest concern right now. I need to make sure there's no way they can touch it without my permission. Well, you have a 100% confirmation of who the golden child is. You need to see a lawyer to ensure that they cannot screw you over because they will if they can. Protect yourself and your college fund, not the a-hole. Yeah, it's pretty clear who the favorite is at this point. I honestly wouldn't put it past them to try something behind my back, so I'll definitely look into legal options. Thanks for the advice. As is always the case, be prepared for the fallout of not caving to their demands to support the golden child. They claim to be doing this for family. But are they really? When they want to put you into years of debt just to support him? He can take out a loan or scale back the wedding instead of you getting screwed over. You're likely going to be on your own after this, so you'd be wise to seek out support before they twist the narrative to screw you over. Yeah, that's what worries me the most. I know standing my ground means they'll probably turn on me, and I'm not sure how bad it's going to get. I don't want to lose my family over this, but I also can't just let them take my future away. I'm trying to figure out my next steps before they make things worse. Thanks for the advice. I really appreciate it. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother he's not welcome at my wedding after what he did? I, 29 male, am getting married in 2 months to my fiancée, 27 female, and we've been planning this day for over a year. My younger brother, 26 male, and I have always had a strained relationship. He's the golden child in our family, and our parents have always excused his behavior, no matter how bad it was. Last year at my engagement party, he got wasted and made an announcement in front of everyone, saying he didn't approve of my marriage because my fiancée is too controlling, because she calls him out when he acts entitled. He then proceeded to propose to his girlfriend on the spot, stealing the moment entirely. My fiancé was on the verge of tears. I was furious and told him he was out of line, but my parents begged me to let it go because he was just drunk and excited. I reluctantly moved on for the sake of keeping the peace. Fast forward to last week, he called me, drunk again, and said, "Hey, I have an idea. What if I make a funny speech at your wedding? Like, just roast you a little?" I told him absolutely not, and that I didn't trust him to behave. He got mad and said I was taking things too seriously. So I finally told him he's not invited. I can't risk him ruining my wedding like he did our engagement party. My parents flipped out, saying I was being cruel and that family forgives. Now I have relatives messaging me, telling me I should just give him another chance. Am I the a-hole for standing my ground? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your brother doesn't need another chance. He needs a wake-up call, and you just gave him one. Weddings aren't open mic nights for entitled siblings who mistake other people's milestones for their own spotlight. Exactly. I've given him plenty of chances, but at some point, enough is enough. This isn't about forgiveness. It's about setting boundaries. I just wish my parents saw it that way, instead of making me feel like the bad guy. Accept that they don't see it as it is, and that your brother has a drinking problem. Combined, your wedding is his next target. You already know he's showing up, no matter what you said. Make sure the DJ or MC doesn't give him mic time. Inform the bartenders to stop serving him at some point. Get a couple of your guy friends to keep an eye on him so he has less chance to disrupt, things like that. It sucks that you have to think along those lines, but you and your wife deserve a beautiful day. The golden child will not want to do right by you. Yes, I know it sucks, but plan for it anyway. You're right, I need to accept that he's going to push boundaries no matter what I say. If he somehow shows up, I'll be ready. I'll make sure he doesn't get the mic, doesn't drink too much, and doesn't get the chance to ruin our day. It sucks that I even have to think about this, but I refuse to let him make our wedding about him. Oh yes, because nothing says family forgives quite like hijacking someone's engagement party, publicly declaring their relationship unworthy, and then pulling a surprise proposal stunt like a Walmart brand reality TV villain. Honestly, how many chances does your brother need? First he gets drunk and makes your engagement party his own personal talent show, and now he wants a live mic at your wedding to roast you? Yeah, sure, because nothing enhances the romantic ambiance of a wedding like a drunken best man reject doing his best Comedy Central impression. If your parents are so insistent on forgiveness, they can throw him his own wedding party to ruin. Maybe set up a special drunk and entitled section at family gatherings just for him. But your wedding? Nope. That's your day, not a second audition for America's Got Bad Decisions. So no, you're not the a-hole. You're the bouncer at the VIP event that is your own wedding, and the guest list is officially free of human liabilities. Sounds like OP is going to save on the cost of a few dinners. The parents will threaten not to come for the sake of their baby boy. Wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what happens. At this point, I'm just bracing for the guilt trips and dramatic ultimatums. If they choose to skip my wedding over this, that's on them, not me. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to attend my sister's wedding after she tried to charge me for being a bridesmaid? I have always been close to my sister Lily, but our relationship has been rocky lately. A couple of months ago, Lily asked me to be a bridesmaid at her wedding, which I was excited about. I've always supported her, and I thought this would be a special moment. But then she gave me the list of requirements for the bridesmaids. The dress was over $300, and she said we needed to pay for our own hair, makeup, and even accessories. I wasn't thrilled about the price, but thought it was part of the deal, and I'd find a way to make it work. However, a few weeks ago, she called me and said I also needed to pay a bridesmaid fee, $150 to cover her costs for the bachelorette party, decorations, and just to help out. I was shocked. I asked if that was really a thing, and she said, well, everyone else is chipping in. I told her I couldn't afford it and that it felt wrong to charge me to be a part of her wedding. She got angry, saying I was being selfish and ruining her special day. After thinking about it, I realized I just couldn't do it. I told her I wouldn't be attending the wedding if that was the case. She went silent, and now the rest of the family is mad at me, calling me petty and saying I should just suck it up. Am I the a-hole for refusing to attend and be charged to be a bridesmaid? Now for the top comments. Charging for bridesmaid duties? What's next? An invoice for attending the wedding? Don't laugh. I've seen it from a friend who was invited and charged admission. What the heck? I've attended multiple weddings that took place in museums that charge admission, except the admission was free for the wedding. I cannot imagine a single universe where that would be okay. Not the a-hole. I'm at the point in my life where if things cost money, sometimes they just don't happen. I'll attend a wedding, but I can't just drop $1,000, or even half that, for anyone else's special day. Yes, I agree. I need to save some money to build my own things too. By the way, there is no bridesmaid fee. She is making this up, and her excuse about everyone chipping in is because no one else questioned this stupid made-up fee. Just don't go. Let the family say what they want. She knows she is wrong, but she's trying to get others to pay for things that are her issue. Last story. Am I the a-hole for taking away the keys of our house from my husband's ex-wife? A couple of days ago, I came home from a work meeting and was unpleasantly surprised to find my husband's ex-wife wandering around the house, fresh out of the shower, with only a towel wrapped around her body. I felt absolutely hysterical, though I didn't show it. She had the keys because her daughter, who is also my husband's daughter, spends more time at our house than at hers, so she occasionally comes to visit her. This time, I didn't hold back. I demanded that she give me the keys and told her she wasn't allowed to come over while I was not home. My husband was asleep in the bedroom and had no idea that his ex-wife was even in the house. When I asked my stepdaughter why her mother had stayed, she simply said that she wasn't planning to leave until her dad woke up. My mind immediately interpreted that as an attempt at seduction. In short, I took away the house keys and told her that it wasn't necessary for her to come see her daughter on weekdays when my stepdaughter already went to her house on weekends. If she needed to come over for something important, she had to ask for permission. She called me crazy, but my husband backed me up, which was the only reason she eventually left without making a scene. Today, I started wondering if maybe I overreacted and handled things immaturely, but at the same time, I don't want her around my 4-month-old baby when I'm not home. Why did she have keys in the first place? And how old is the daughter? Bigger question, why was the husband asleep while she was showering? Sounds suspect. Can't help but think you arrived after their activities. She always had the keys in case of an emergency while we were traveling. My stepdaughter is 17 years old. And about my husband, he had spent the night awake at work, so he slept all day. Although I also thought like you at first, I immediately checked the cameras I have in some areas of the house to monitor my baby, including in the bedrooms. You're definitely not the a-hole, and she was trying to seduce your husband in my opinion. She should have never been given a key, and her reaction of getting mad says everything about her intentions. Thanks for making me think I'm not completely crazy.